guys, and welcome back to MJ Misadventures. So, thanks to YouTube, and also thanks to Facebook, and there's some awesome groups, so I don't want anyone to think that I'm actually kind of attacking them. I had a couple people ask me, Mike, why'd you pick the 850 over the XMR 1000? Good point. Good question, in fact, actually. So, I wanted to bring up a few good points for that. One was price. I mean, everyone in today's world is concerned with price. The 850 Outlander, and just in case anyone's wondering, there it is. I'm not making it up. It's not hidden. That's directly from the website. The 850 is $14,999. The 1000 is $16,599. A lot of people are going to say, well, Mike, but it's an 850, man. It's not a 1000, though. And here's where I'm going to tell you you're wrong. So, give me a second here. Let me grab my little flashy light. Here's the fun fact. That is the same 999cc motor that is in the 1000. It's the identical motor. They are 100% the exact same engine, same transmission, same gearing, same axles, same differentials, same everything. So you might be saying to yourself, well, why in the world is it so much more expensive? Good point, good question. If you think a set of the J-hook handlebars and a mud strap, oh, and I can't forget, right down here, let me turn on my light here again. Don't mind it flashing, it's cold and it doesn't like it. If you look down here and you look up, and you'll see right here and right here are two cutouts. Those two cutouts are for the 1000 XMR. Oh, again. Sorry about that. Camera malfunctions here. Normally I have Jamin helping me out here, but she's kind of busy. But those cutouts are there so the XMR 1000 gets its fancy little accent light. Now, if you care about that, here's a fun little fact. And it's a little hard to see because mine's covered in mud, and I do apologize. If you look right up in here, there's actually a wire already pre-wired and ran up there sitting on a dummy plug. So if you're feeling like you really want to go with one of those, or if you feel that those three accessories are worth, you know, insert price here, I'll put it down on the bottom, I don't remember off the top of my head. But if you feel that it's worth that, you know, extra cost, so you don't have to do it, and the tune, obviously the tune is different, then get the 1000. It's worth it all day. Now, I had already planned going into it that I was going to do an RVS tune. I'd seen that it was available. It really intrigued me, the RVS tune. That's 25 horsepower over the stock 82. And if you have the 1000, it only adds, I think, like 5 horsepower. And it makes them identical. Funny enough. So, for the same price of the tune, you don't get near as much with the 1000 as you do with the 850. So, my theory on it was, why waste all the extra money on a set of handlebars, a mud strap, which I can buy a mud strap for 50 bucks, 60 bucks, not a huge expense, and the accent lighting, which I care less about. So, with that being said, that is actually why I picked the 850, and I also wanted it in gray, so that was an advantage that the 850 only comes in gray, where I think the other one comes in black as well if you want. So, again, small thing, but a point that I wanted to touch on. And other people talked on weight. It's like, oh, these things are pigs, they're super heavy, they're super overweight. So SLG, again, has a video of this up on their Facebook site. You can find it free of charge, obviously. They actually hang one of these on purpose, full of fuel, bone stock, brand new bike, right off the dealer floor, so you can see the actual weight. Comes in at 1,090 pounds, and that's full of fuel, ready to ride. I know people are going to say, well, that thing's still a boat, it's heavy. But when you really start thinking about it, and again, go back and do some math, this thing only weighs about 50 pounds heavier than the previous generation, which if you consider this bumper and this bumper, And I'm not even talking about the different size increase in the motor and the bigger differentials and the thicker, heavier drive shafts, or axle shafts. Sorry, not drive shafts. I don't really care. With the extra power that it has, I don't think it's really that big of a deal. So that's something to consider. And I don't think a lot of people are. They're just kind of jumping to a conclusion going, oh, it's heavy. It's this, that, and the other. Yeah, I mean, it's a utility quad that's on, well, 30s from the factory. I hope anyone doesn't expect it to weigh 500 pounds. So, and the rack as well is different. And I know that all adds weight. Not promoting them or trying to put them on blast, but Mud Puppy does a full video where he pulls all of the stuff off, like the bumper, the rear rack, and the rear bumper, just to see what it all weighs and see how it works out in the end. I forget what the weight number was, but I think it was like 60 or 70 pounds right there, which is putting this at pretty close to the same weights as a factory. Almost, I mean, I think a Renegade was 980 pounds or something like that, if I remember correctly. It's putting it pretty close to a Renegade's power or weight. So I think we need to take the weight consideration out. And then when you consider they've also ditched the trailing arms and everything else in the rear, I think that's a huge benefit that I don't think a lot of people are realizing. It rides so much better than my older, I have a buddy of mine that has older Outlander, not an XMR, but just a regular XTP, and rides really good. But I think this rides smoother, it stays more balanced, it stays more composed. So that's something to consider. But with that being said, let's talk about my last ride. And was it fun? Did I have a blast with it? I'm sure you've already seen it. It was still muddy. And yeah, I had a blast. The thing absolutely rips. The throttle control is great. The power is good. I didn't have the stalling issue other than when I first brought it home. I know that's been an issue that people have been talking about and saying, oh, they're junk because of this and they're trash and don't buy one because it's got an issue. And no, it's just the way they are. Forewarning for anyone that's looking to buy one of these 850s or 1000s, I think they all do it. When you first get them, they will sound like they're almost dead, like the battery is toasting it, and it's not. It's just how tight the motor is. It does break in over time, and it does get better. So, like I can tell you, even with just 5 hours on mine, it is easier to start now, smoother running, it seems more balanced. I think it's just a learning curve on the motor, and then everything kind of breaking in. But yeah, other than that, the new clutches that are in them, really smooth, really good. I know I keep moving around because I'm kind of looking at stuff and remembering. I'm sorry, I don't have it all written down like I normally do to where I can remember all this stuff. But outside of that, the new clutches are great. I've already done a few modifications to this one. Did a set of 32-inch Tarachi Aztecs on it. I'm going to give them a try. I will tell you, and I'll bring my flashlight over here so that way we can actually see where the issue can be. Right down there, if I can get my light in the right spot, I can get you guys in the right spot. Right down here, you can kind of see a slight rub mark right there on stock wheels. They're the stock Can-Ams, obviously, as you can tell. They are everything that came from the factory except for the tire. And then in the rear, I did a tiger tail just because, I mean, they're great, super easy to use. If you're not familiar with them, they're pretty freaking awesome, piece of equipment just for using on the trails and just getting people out quick. And I've been at Busco a few times and been able to save people using them. But then again, I've also used an old tow strap and gotten people out too. But outside of that, the new 3,500 pound winch that's on the front, I did get to test that out. If you watched my last video, you'll see I had to use it a few times. I did get it stuck. I was also buried in like fender high peanut butter mud. If you watch towards the end of that video, you'll see where I actually walk into it and I'm like waist deep in the mud. So kind of shows you exactly what I was dealing with. The other things, like I said, we do have the tune coming. I have to get a couple more hours on it. At least I want to, because if I send the tune out, or if I send the ECU out now, won't get it back before I'm up in Andover, New York in Tall Pines for their ride. And I think it's like July 18th. So I'm going to be up there for that. And then we got some other rides coming, so it'll definitely be there for those. At Busco for Mud Bash, PA Mudfest, and then of course I'm going to go back down for Fall Bash. Can't miss Busco's Fall Bash. But outside of that, I mean, the overall impressions on the first ride of this bike, it's phenomenal. The bike rides extremely well. It's just extremely composed on the trails. Like, I was watching my buddy's brute force that was in front of me, and I'm not knocking the brute force. I'm not saying anything bad about it. You know, he would hit a bump, and I'm like, ooh, that's gonna hurt. You know, I had 2 back surgeries, so my back's kind of limited. I can only do so much, and I can only take so many hits, and then I'm kind of done for the day. This new suspension they got on it, the Showa shocks, work extremely well. It's extremely smooth to hit those bumps, soaks them right up, and I mean, you don't even notice it really. The power on the bike was great. I mean, if you wanted to pull the front end up, you could pull the front end up. Going through whoops at 40 miles an hour on a set of train tracks. I hate saying it. I wish I would have filmed that section, but I was just like, oh, we're just trailing on down there. No big deal. Why waste the time? I learned pretty quickly. I should have. But that was a place that really shocked me. My side-by-side rides about as good as this does down those railroad tracks, taking those hits. And if anyone's ridden train tracks, they know exactly what I mean, where they have those constant whoops going down them. 40 miles an hour, you just kind of blip the throttle. If you see it like a sharp, like you're going to nose in one of the whoops, you just mash the throttle. That thing picks right up, walks right over top of it. You don't even feel it, honestly. I did notice the front end does have a little bit less travel. I would like to see if there's an upgrade for that. I'm going to try and readjust the preload in the front, put a little more preload in it, and kind of pick that front end up a little bit and see if maybe that'll give it a little bit more shock travel. Maybe it'll have a little bit more movement in there. But we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But outside of that, anyone that's looking at one of these, I'll tell you right off the bat, well worth the money. Comparing it to the old Outlanders, the old Outlanders were good. This is, I would say, great. I mean, and I'm not saying it because I bought it. I would tell you if it's junk, I don't really care. If it's junk, I just turn around and sell it. You know? But no, it's been great. Other than the stupid stalling issue that, you know, a lot of people have been reporting kind of over and over again, they've had, which has been a known problem. They get better over time. So again, I know I'm not going to hark on it because I've already talked about it. They do get better over time. As the thing kind of breaks in, it seems like it has more punch. It seems like it just kind of opens up more and more. The stalling, like I said, mine, knock on wood, hasn't had a ton of issues with that. It was mostly when it was brand new, it would struggle to idle, and then it would, you know, just shut off and stall, and then it would restart and run fine. And then, like I said, as it's been used, it's been getting better. So I hope everyone finds this super helpful. I'll catch you guys on the next video, and hopefully next, like Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll get you guys out that video of up in Andover, up at Tall Pines. Should be mostly snow and some mud, so sounds like it should be a good time for that weekend. So catch you guys on the next one. I'll talk to y'all later. See ya.